Wow, John, that was a really telling interview. It sounds like the AMA is really supporting this and going to get behind it.
Yeah, you know, the AMA, I think that they recognize the significance of the technology, and quite frankly, it'll make, RC aircraft a safer thing, which is much better from the AMA's perspective. It'll also make it a lot easier for folks holding events, especially big AMA events like Steve Califf was talking. So I think, it's quite obvious from Steve's interview that, spread spectrum technology from the AMA's perspective is a win-win proposition.
Yeah, it really sounds like this is a monumental step for RC.
Most definitely.
Well, since this release, we've gotten some questions from several of our consumers that had some concerns, and I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to see if you could help answer some of them.
Wow, I'd be more than happy to. Anxious to hear what people are saying.
Okay, so from Jason, he's from Dayton, Ohio, and is asking, will the DX7 work with my AR6000 receivers that are included with the DX6?
Wow, that's a really great question. I have an AR6000 here. And of course the AR6000 was included with the original DX and it's designed for park flyer systems only. And we've sent out about 16, 17 test sample radios to people around the country that have been tested for several months. And that's the first thing that they ask too. They want to know if all the 6-channel AR6000 receivers will work with the DX7, and the answer is yes, and they were sure happy to hear that. In addition, not only will it work, but model match will work with the AR6000, plus the latency is significantly reduced over the DX6 when using the DX7 transmitter with an AR6000. Important thing to remember though, this is a park flyer receiver, and it can only be used in park flyer, foamy airplanes, park flyer airplanes, micro and mini helicopters.
Well, that certainly helps the offerings of this radio being able to work in reverse compatibility with the AR6000.
That's for sure, and that's what everybody that's had experience with this radio said. They're really excited that it works with their old receivers.
Okay. Bill from Champaign, Illinois asks, what is model match?
Model match, we talked about it a little bit in the video, but it's a patented feature that we've incorporated in the DX7. First time ever in any radio system, and what it does is it absolutely prevents anybody from selecting the wrong model memory to try to operate a specific model. And people do this all the time, they get the wrong model in the computer, in the radio, and they're trying to fly a different model, wrong model memory. The system simply won't connect. It's a model saving feature that we think is an absolutely one of the most important significant things with the DX7 that will literally save your model.
Great. Okay, Paul from St. Louis, Missouri asks about the antenna wire. He claims that they're very short. Why are they so short, and do they really work?
Yeah, on the AR7000 and also on the AR6000 that I showed you a few minutes ago, you'll notice that it has the antenna wires that come off of each of the two separate receivers. They're only 30 millimeters in length, and we're used to seeing this 39-inch antenna, which is a pain in the butt to fish down the back of your fuselage, or what do you do with a helicopter, especially in small airplanes.
Right. Well,
2.4 gigahertz has a very short wavelength. 72 megahertz has a very long wavelength in comparison. So 2.4 gigahertz is actually 2,400 megahertz. The correct length of the antenna to be optimized so that it works correctly is a fraction of the wavelength. Since 2.4 gigahertz is at such a higher frequency, the natural resonant frequency is much shorter. So, like I said, 30 millimeters is the correct length. Like any antenna, you don't want to cut that any shorter or make it any longer, but it sure makes it easy when you're trying to install these in airplanes, especially with the AR6000. When you try to put that in a little micro helicopter or a small airplane, the short antenna length sure makes it easy to mount these things.
Yes, it does.